Good morning to those of you on YouTube and Zoom. We'll begin our daily devotional in just a few moments. Good morning to those of you on Facebook. We'll begin our daily devotional in just a few moments. Good morning and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. Very glad to have you joining us this morning, this Tuesday morning, February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, 2021. We are reading this week from Mark chapter 1, this time verses 29 through 39. Yesterday morning, I did a sort of general overview of these verses. We are very, very early in Jesus' ministry here. As I mentioned yesterday, the Gospel of Mark jumps right in to Jesus' ministry. He does a very quick summary of the baptism with John the Baptist and a verse or two about the temptation in the wilderness. And then it goes right into preaching and teaching in Galilee, and here leaving the synagogue in Capernaum and going to the house of the brothers Simon and Andrew. So this morning, I would like for us to focus on the first three verses of our passage, Mark chapter 1, verses 29, 30, and 31. As soon as they left the synagogue, they entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they told him about her at once. He came and took her by the hand and lifted her up. Then the fever left her, and she began to serve them. So, a couple of things about this passage. One is that this seems very likely to have been on the Saturday morning of the Sabbath, or perhaps Saturday afternoon. And Jesus and these new disciples, it's not clear here in Mark whether he has called the full 12 just yet. And so he is goes to the house of Simon and Andrew. And one of the things that I think is, I mentioned yesterday, and I think is a very good lesson for us here, is that our commitment to Christ is not something we do just at church. And Jesus models that for us here as he goes directly from the synagogue into the house of Simon and Andrew, and he heals Simon's mother-in-law. And I think, although Mark might not be trying to communicate this direct message, I think the message is there for us about how Jesus teaching, as I said last week, that Jesus teaching is not limited to the things that he says, that his teaching and his message is as much about him and modeling for us here in that religion is not just something that you put on in a religious context, like a synagogue or a church. Religion is something that you, in the case of commitment to Christ, is something that you take with you wherever you go. And Jesus models that for us, going directly from the synagogue into a house and showing compassion and healing Simon's mother-in-law. I think this is a real challenge for, maybe it's been a challenge for Christians throughout the ages, but it's certainly a real challenge for contemporary Christians to figure out ways to bring Christ and their commitment to Christ with them wherever they are. And of course, people have lots of different kinds of lives, lots of different sorts of work. We have people that are driving trucks all day, making deliveries. We have people that sit, like myself, most of the day in front of a computer screen, or on the telephone, or we have people who work as clerks in stores or managers. And so there's all kinds of work at all kinds of places that people go to. We have a lot of people, of course, in our church that are retired, and there are many differences between them. Some of them are spending a great deal of time with their grandchildren and helping the family. And some of them are almost working second careers. And so there are a lot of different ways in which we are engaged. And I think that this passage models for us that we're not to leave our commitment in the church. One other point here is that, well, let me say about that, first of all, that I'll make another point about not leaving our commitment in church, that this is why I do think having a daily devotional can be helpful, a prayer time, a time of reading the Bible. Of course, this is not new, but having that can help you orient yourself to wherever you are, whether you're working at home with your family, or in the home, or you have colleagues, or on the computer or a phone, that you're able to take the Spirit of Christ with you wherever you go. And I think it's very helpful to have this time together. And then the other point is the healing itself, the fact that Christ simply takes her by the hand and lifts her up, and her fever left her. I think there is an extraordinary message for us there too, that when we are able to take the Spirit of Christ with us, then, well, there's a sense in which the fever leaves us, and we're able to help other people too, either through healing and prayer, or even by just having the right sort of attitude that's not fevered, but is rather peaceful, and bringing the peace of Christ with us each day and wherever we go. Let's close with this word of prayer from the 19th century preacher Roland Williams. O God, who has in mercy taught us how good it is to follow the holy desires which thou manifoldly put into our hearts, and how bitter is the grief of falling short of whatever beauty our minds behold. Strengthen us, we beseech thee, to walk steadfastly throughout life in the better path which our hearts once chose, and give us wisdom to tread it prudently in thy fear, as well as cheerfully in thy love, so that having been faithful to thee all the days of our life here, we may be able hopefully to resign ourselves into thy hands hereafter. Amen. Thank you for joining us this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.